Welcome to T Boys TV. We are back again with another Hat Show, obviously episode 203. Obviously, in this one, we will be discussing and reacting to the Sheffield United game on the weekend. And then, obviously, Reece Burke's come out and done an interview, as the players do. One player each game, maybe two at a push. But he's come out and said a few interesting things. From a player's perspective, you'd expect the fans to say it. But again, we'll get into that very shortly. So, first of all, Dad, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Hope everyone's cool. Monday business.
Yep, no, absolutely. Start of the week. And it's like the last time, Dad, I'll be honest, I'm sort of glad we don't play. It was like that on the last international break because it's just not been good, as we know, this season. But let's get straight into it. So, Sheffield United. Now, line up, well, I don't know, because going into it, it looked to me like it was the same, but when we was actually playing, it looked like it was a back four, but it's just players out of position. He said after the game, on the, three counties, because that's the only one that's actually come out on, that it was basically not working, but it's like, because you're not playing the players in the right position. Clark up front, what's that all about? The guy's never played up front in his life. I didn't understand that. He had Doughty on the seemed like he was on the right side. Walters on the left side. It was just a mess. Now, I mean, no doubt he can play on the right, but don't put a right-sided player in Walters on the left. It's just ridiculous. Certain things in this game I didn't understand. It's like I wanted Krause to play. Like I can't say I didn't. But however, Dad, it's like you said. He said he was fatigued, or whatever, tired. So you thought he wouldn't start this game because of that, and he did. He ran his socks off. To be fair to him, one of the good players in the game. But as for the lineup, Kaminsky in goal, obviously. Mengi, Burke, McGuinness, Doughty, Walker, Nakamba, Krause, Moses, Elijah, and Clark. So good to see that Moses was, continuing to play. That was always good to see. As for the bench, it was Baptiste, a player you would have started in this game, Dad. Brown, Holmes, Johnson, Ruddock, Nelson, Shea, Taylor, Woodrow. So again, decent, attacking depth. But it was just, I thought at first, when I saw the lineup, just before I went into the ground, I thought it was, the formation it has been. And I was saying to Harry, even though I don't want to go with this formation, I'll be happy if it's like that. Because the two in midfield, I do prefer it being Krause and Nakamba, and then playing Clark higher. I thought it was like that, Clark on there, Clark on the right of the three, Elijah up front, and then Moses on the left. That's how I thought it was. And then the rest speaks for itself, really, in that sense. But it wasn't. But what did you make of it? That it was.
I thought the same as you. I thought them three would be up front. It took me ages to work out that. Well, it took me ages, but it took me a while to work out that it actually was a 4-4-2. Because when I was watching it on TV and that, even they put the line up as a what we normally do. Do you know what I mean? So, and the fact that like you said, he come out and said that Krause was absolutely knackered. I know he come off on that, but I thought Baptiste, he's fit enough to be on the bench and come on, and he's fit enough to start, really, isn't it? But we'll get into it, really like into the game and that, because I just presumed it was like that initially. I thought Doughty be on the right. I know some people I've seen criticising that, but he can play with both feet, so
that weren't the problem for me. It's the fact it seemed like Walters was on the other side. It makes no sense.
No, sorry. I thought Doughty would be on the left, Walters would be on the right, back three, McGuinness, Mengi, Burke, and then
like it has been.
Yeah, that's what I thought, and I know we've been saying we thought about in his support up, up top and that, but it's almost like he's gone with a 4-4-2, but then not put their players in the strongest positions to try and prove that it doesn't work. You know what I mean? It sounds bizarre, but I can't, that's just a stupid thing to do. But it sounds like he's just overthinking everything. Do you know what I mean? Like Walters is naturally and looked good in that right back position. And yeah, I guess what you could have put Mendy left back. You could have brought Johnson on, started him maybe, or if you didn't want to drop, you got to drop someone. You said that you have to make these decisions. Probably hard to drop, Burke, Menges, but McGuinness, who we've said it makes us look stupid that he plays better in the back four, didn't, but there's reasons that this shit happened. Do you know what I mean?
He weren't the only bad defender.
You could have just dropped someone. It's not the world. Do you know what I mean? And then the other one was again. Then I realised when we was actually playing, it was definitely two up front anyway. You know what I mean? But then you're thinking, little and large, isn't it, up front? Like I said to you, like he didn't help. He didn't help him whatsoever, did he?
Ridiculous.
Because he's a captain. Will be brave and make someone else a captain. Do you know what I mean? There's other candidates, that, even if it's just for one game. Burke, for instance, Moses potentially, Kaminsky potentially. Do you know what I mean?
There's loads of players.
So as it, the game kind of unfolded, you could see definitely there's two up front. It just didn't look, because we weren't on the ball and stuff. You couldn't really see the positioning, because all you saw was Clark and Elijah like trying to chase them down, then them just passing it through the middle, and then us don't know what the fuck we're doing at the back as per usual. So yeah, initially the front, thinking of the front three, Clark can play on that right. Moses can play on both sides. I've had the same sort of thing. No, he's right. He's one of the most experienced players in the world.
Moses, do you know what I'm saying? It don't matter. Like, we got to utilise this guy while we have him. Do you know what I'm saying?
It'd be higher up, and that didn't work either. So because he wasn't higher up. But that's what I think. But he's obviously going to start Elijah. But if you could have started Woodrow, and people wouldn't have minded that. Do you know what I mean? I would have preferred that over Clark.
Just someone who's actually a striker. It's stupid.
You could have started Clark in midfield, which is what I thought was going to happen. I had Clark and Baptiste in that. But yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah, so obviously, I was there. The fans bring the atmosphere like always. It's booming in the concourse, absolutely booming. You could tell the derby days coming up. Full of chants about them mugs and stuff. And then we go into the game, chanting and that, and we're thinking, okay, come on, let's do this. Let's compete with them. We went there last two times and won. Let's give them a game. But we didn't. We didn't. Conceded fairly early. Yet again, 12th minute. It's just the same thing week upon week. We either give ourselves a mountain to climb, or we're 2-0 up, 1-0 up, whatever, and then we just bottle it. It was awful defending for the goal. And I have to be honest, it was McGuinness and Walters. He shouldn't be getting in between them like that. But even then, we should be clearing it away, flipping balls in the air, going up in the air. It's just a joke, mate. It's like it's a bit of ping pong. Do you know what I mean? It was awful, absolutely awful. Raksaki with the goal. Good finish, yet again. Kaminsky couldn't have done anything. It's becoming a joke now. I'm saying that every single week. Yeah, it's just a joke. But great finish. But again, we should have defended it better. Should have cleared it before. But then when it's actually come to him, how he's got in between them, I just don't understand. Too easy. Good finish, but frustrating. And from there on in, I'm thinking, well, this is going to be a very long afternoon. I don't know if you was the same, Dad.
Not so much. I was more disappointed with the fact that throughout the whole game and particularly from early on, it was like we was playing against Man City and we didn't even play like against Man City like that in the Premier League.
And ironically, last time we had that referee was when we played Man City away.
It was like we'd just come up from League Two. We got a pass straight to the Championship, and we just gave him too much respect. We didn't have nothing about us, like, which is what we normally do. You know, I don't understand that, and you know, I know them players got quality as well, which has rescued us a couple of times this season, Millwall and you know, Sheffield Wednesday. But the togetherness, the fighting, everything like that, it's not there. I don't understand why it's not there. And that was more frustrating than even the goals we conceded, in my opinion. Do you know what I mean? And then when we went 2-0 down, then we started to fight a little bit, you know. But the first goal, like, Walters, he should have dealt with that, you know. And you know, Guinness was expecting him to deal with it because he should have just hacked it away or whatever. He just tried to. I don't know what he was doing, trying to take it down. Lost control of it. Matey boy nipped in, and then McGuinness was like on the back foot. He tried desperately to, you know, make somebody would say, "Oh, he should have," you know, but it should have been dealt with anyway.
Yeah, it should have been dealt with before that. Ball bouncing all up in the air. It was ridiculous. It was fucking awful, mate. Seriously.
You know, he tried to control it with his left foot as well. Obviously, like, he's not going to do it with his right because he is right-footed, and it just went wrong. You know what I mean? That's being playing in the wrong position. He's only 19. We know how good he looks, particularly on the right. But you know, we've seen Burke play there one time, and he was crap, wasn't he?
Sent it back against Burnley in the Premier League.
Yeah. You had Johnson there. I know Bell's injured, but Johnson, you know, in a back four, he's quite comfortable on the ball. He's older than Walters. Arguably, you could say he's just as experienced as him, just because he's come from Arsenal and that. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, Raxu, who apparently we were linked with. Maybe we were, but whatever. Maybe he demanded too much money. You don't know the situation entirely on that. You know, see how the rest of his season goes. You know, we made it easy for him at the end of the day. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to say on the first goal.
Yeah, no, I agree. It was too easy. It's just frustrating yet again, really. But yeah, obviously after that, the first half was terrible. You know, for me, it was I did actually do a bit of it. Big up to everyone that watched fan cam, by the way. I did outside the ground. But I did try and sound that, but the mic was playing up at the start of it. So if you watched it, and it was like me talk about a certain bit at the start, that's why. But I was trying to, what I said on it, but it didn't quite work. That was the worst first half of the season, in my opinion. And we've had a lot of bad first halves. I just think, like you say, Dad, there was no fight. It's like you say, it was like we were generally playing Man City. We were just sitting back. Callum O'Hare, like, he was making little like jogs. Do you know what I mean? Like, he weren't even proper trying to run at us because he didn't need to. It was too easy. You know, players, you know, we were playing balls up there. Players weren't even trying to get to them, like, not even trying to compete to get to them. You know, it was too sloppy. You know, it was too sloppy. It was embarrassing, to be honest. You know, it's like I said, coming out of it, we should be competing with them. And yes, they've had a great season like so far, and they have grinded out the results against the lower end teams, and we played the equivalent of just similar teams. You know, bar obviously Burnley, and we've, you know, the games we have won, we ain't looked convincing. All right, they ain't scored a lot of goals, but they've got clean sheets. Do you know what I mean? That you can't, for me, yeah, you can't go into a game with us and think we're going to get a clean sheet. You just can't think that at the moment, even against, you know, no disrespect, but like Cardiff or someone like that. Do you know what I mean? You can't even think that. I would say Portsmouth, but we've already played them. You know, and we did get a clean sheet, but still, you know, it's just stupid from us in the first half, as we know. So it's one of them where it was just awful. It's just so lackluster. It was, like I was there, and I was just thinking to myself, "Oh, let me just get on with half time." You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, it was terrible, man. Like, I can't even. Apparently, we had 8 shots the whole game. I can only think of 2: the Jacob Brown header, and then the Clark shot, which we got a corner from. They're the only big chances I can think of that we actually had. We'll just move on to the second half for me. Obviously, they got another goal. They were proper coming at us, in my opinion. And the thing is, they weren't even in like full gear. Like they didn't really need to be, and it could have been worse, for us. It's just awful. They hit the post. Obviously, they got the goal, like I say, Raksaki again. Good goal, you know, and going into it for their lineup, by the way, well, we all know now, but obviously they didn't start Hamer, which everyone was going on about going into it. Even us thinking he was going to score. I said it myself. But he didn't even start. Didn't even need to start. And they violated us. It's like Brewster. That guy's crap. Do you know what I mean? And he got an assist. We let him get an assist. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. These average players, yeah, like Ryan Brewster, do stuff against us. It's not good enough. Yeah, he's awful, mate. Liverpool laughing when they got 20 odd million for him. You know what I mean? He's not good. And we let him get an assist. Too easy. Felt sorry for Kaminsky yet again. And I just look at it and I go, if I'm Kaminsky, like I've said, weeks upon weeks, if I get, obviously if we get decent offer as well, if I'm him, I'm going. Because he should not be having to put up with this week upon week, right? It's an absolute joke, mate. Yeah, he prevents it from being about 5, 6. It's not good enough, week upon week. And I just look at it and I think, well, in the Premier League, I understand it because they're better teams. So, that's fair enough. Most saves, that's fair enough. But in the Championship, I thought, yeah, there's obviously going to be hard games, but not as bad as we've made ourselves in games for him to like have to make saves upon saves. Like we were lucky against Oxford. Like we should have lost. Do you know what I mean? That's not good enough at home. That's not acceptable, mate. Yeah, and there's been games upon games that's happened. Millwall, we were lucky. I don't care what anyone said. We were lucky. Yeah, Pelly Ruddock giving it away. Kaminsky, unreal save. 2 unreal saves. Saved it right at the end. It's just not good enough. So I feel sorry for him. They got the goal again. And yeah, we started to make some changes. I mean, Brown come on, which was obviously good to see. I thought he'd maybe start, if I'm going to be honest. And then obviously Woodrow come on as well. Nakamba, didn't think Nakamba was great in this game. Like I say, I love Nakamba, but my only worry about him, and I've always said it, is he can put in a clumsy challenge every now and then. Obviously he did that against Oxford, got away with it, but I just don't think he was great in this game. Then they obviously brought on Hamer as well, took off Raksaki. People near me were like, thank fuck for that. Do you know what I mean? Oh, it was awful. Then we brought Taylor on. Obviously, there's some jeers when he come on. It's just a weird one with him, innit? Because 1 minute he'll come on in the game, 1 minute he won't come on. It's just ridiculous. It's a joke. Baptiste come on for Kraus. Obviously, them changes were obviously all attacking changes because obviously Taylor come on for Walters as well. So it was one of them. Then obviously Nelson come on right at the end, which I didn't understand. No point bringing him on if you're going to bring him on for 3 minutes, well, 2 minutes plus the added time. It was just awful. Other than the Brown header in the second half and a Clark shot, like I say, I can't really think of anything we've done. It was quite similar, to be honest. It was just disappointing, and it was just so like lackluster, really. And it just weren't good enough. Like, they're a good side in that, but we should be competing with them. Yes, this is last season, but we've done better than them in the Premier League. Do you know what I mean? Like, why are we not competing? It's not good enough. It's just awful. But yeah, that was my thoughts on the second half. Your thoughts on the second half, Dad?
Yeah, usual story, isn't it? Conceded again. Again, it was good play. He put it through the keeper's legs. And Walters was again exposed. They knew that. They're like, yeah, he's all over the gap. Put it on him. Maybe Kaminsky maybe could have done better, but it's still a good finish. And then they were just toying with us basically until we made the changes and we looked a little bit more organised at least, but still never really looked like scoring. And it just looked like they'd forgot how to play. It's not how they forgot how to play football. It's like they don't seem like a team, and it's just really, really weird to see. And obviously, we won't get into it right now, but the next game, obviously, the derby, they have to be up for that, and they have to just pull something out back. Do you know what I mean? But Reece Burke, like he said, has come out and he said it twice in that interview that it's a must-win game. So read between the lines in that as well. I think if we don't win that, I do think he'll go, because if you can't get your team, and the team can't even get themselves up for that game, there is something seriously wrong with the ability we've got and all that. Yeah, there's no question about it. If we'd started off well, like we'd done that season, we got promoted, then we went to Watford and we just didn't turn up. But then that's different. This is the opposite of that. You have to reverse that and turn up for this. And if you don't, there's something seriously wrong. Sorry, there is. So it is make or break for me for the manager and that. Even some of the players, because they will be looked at, but majority of them, I think, haven't done too bad in spells, but it's just that consistency. But then if you're switching their positions and that, then especially against a team that hasn't been defeated away, it's just like smacks of a bit of desperation, isn't it? But we'll see it'd be very, very interesting, because I don't know what I'd go with that. Do you know what I mean? Is he going to stick with a 4-4-2, or is he going to go back to the thing? I personally probably stick with a 4-4-2, and I would have Elijah.
The thing is, if he plays players in the right positions, it'll work. I can't see why it wouldn't work. You've got more cover in midfield. You've got Elijah benefited.
Go basics. Just do your basic things right, and stop trying to overplay, and just keep calm with it, and stop just passing it around the back and then looking for just nonsense, really. Like, it's, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. But yeah, the second half was just normal, like standards when we go 2-0 down. It felt like we, like I said, we just got promoted or something, and we're playing Brighton or in the Premier League. Do you know what I mean? Like that kind of vibe about it. The players that come on kind of made a little bit of difference, but again, it's too late, isn't it? A team like that who hasn't lost is going to manage the game, and they did. We put it on them a little bit, which if we'd have done that in the first place, then we might have rattled them. But they had a little 10-minute spell where we were like proper putting the pressure on and that, but nothing come of it, did it? So.
Yeah. No, let's go through some comments before we get into the player ratings. Evening, lads. Hope both well. What a shit show at the weekend. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, big up to yourself, Harry. Yeah, it was awful, mate. All right, bro. Hope you lads doing great. Yeah, we're all right. Thanks, mate. Don't want Blades to go up. I don't know. I mean, you might do. I don't know. Probably the way you go. I think you're the only team now that's still unbeaten. So, I don't know. Obviously, you probably will lose at some point. It's a championship, but still. I don't know. It's an interesting one, because I hear what you're saying. So then you go up and you probably know what's going to happen again. But at least you're competing for that, mate. Yeah, we're not. We're competing for flipping survival at the moment, and I'm not even joking. We generally are. So it's just not good enough. I've got a feeling, looking back at now, he put walls on that side, drill Ratsaki, but that definitely didn't work. No, exactly. And I don't understand why you'd do that anyway, because he's still got a lot to learn. Like I always said when Walt was first coming, I didn't think he'd start as much. I said it on the last one, just because, gel him in. But as the season goes on, I thought he'd start more. But even then, don't put him on that side. Right? I guarantee if I have a look on transfer market, can that guy even play on the left? Do you know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. It's just stupid. So yeah, Jackie says Jordan playing up front quite a lot. Not in their natural position. I only listen, but it's a shambles. You're probably better off listening for that game, to be honest. Didn't miss much.
Well, watch it, but when I used to listen to it all the time, the commentators are a lot more honest. Do you know what I mean? Because they're the local ones and stuff like that, and it's on the radio, so it's not obviously they don't swear in that, but you know, you can be little bit more critical on that than you can on the TV and stuff. Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah. No, honestly, 3 away games and no limbs. I know, mate. It's awful. It's like apples and pears at the back. Bloody hell. Looked better when Woodrow and Taylor was on, but too late when doing it. Yeah, again. It's like the Nelson sub as well. Why? What's the point? Well, it's just, No, I agree. It's worse than Plymouth. Now, we thought that was bad. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. The Campbell was awful. Yeah, he weren't great. But yeah, getting into the player ratings. So, Kaminsky, I mean, on the coach, they always ask us our man of the match. It's difficult doing it in games we lose, especially like that. But I did go with Kaminsky, and I'm going to stick with it for there. I think that's back to back now. I've given him man of the match, and just the same things. Yet again, prevented it from being more. Yet again, they weren't even in full gear, and they were just taking a piss, really. So and he was just preventing it from being more. He was fuming. I don't blame him. What I will say is his distribution's getting better, because I know a lot of people have been skeptical about that, but it has actually been getting better. I mean, there was one moment during the game people thought he was going out, but it actually stayed on, and it was actually a pretty good ball in the end. So for me, it's my man of the match, which is it just tells a lot about a lot of the other players, doesn't it? So for me, I'm going with I won't go too high, but I'll just go with I'll go with 7.5.
I'll give him a 7. He is my man of the match as well, because consistently he's just making these excellent saves that are trying to help the team, and that's what other players are doing, certain things, but they're not doing enough. They're the ones that can make it happen. You know what I mean? He's there to do his job, and he's consistently doing it, really, isn't he? Let's be honest. So yeah, there's other players I thought have done okay, pretty well considering, but considering he made vital saves, really to prevent it being more, and it should have been more, at least 4. 7. Man.
Yeah, no, exactly. Same old, really, innit? But yeah, moving on to the next player, McGuinness. Not the best of games, like I say. From him, hopefully now, he's on international break. Obviously, touch wood, you don't get injured, but hopefully he has a good international break, and hopefully that brings a bit of confidence for him going into, obviously coming back to us. But in this game, don't think he was great, to be honest. If I'm going to be honest, so I'll go with 6.
Yeah, I'll give him a 6. I'd say Walters was more at fault for them games than him. It's easy to blame him because he's the new lad and that, and I see a lot of people going, well, he's just terrible, and like they're no better than the board. I think he's got it in him.
He's showing decent stuff.
If you come into a team that's performing like that, then it doesn't really help you, does it? Do you know what I mean? Whereas you come into a team that's gelling and doing this, that, and the other, it's a lot easier to bed in, I think. So I'm sure he'll be fine. But yeah, just 6. Because there was some good passes and touches and that, other than the defensive stuff.
I mean, what we have seen, bar the QPR game, he's good as an aerial presence.
He's probably been involved in more goal threats than.
Yeah, not even from corners. Defensively, I mean, as well from corners. Yeah. But defensively as well, he has shown glimpses of that. But yeah, this game, not the best. Kaminsky 6.5 says Harry. McGuinness 4. Moving on to the next one, Burke. I mean, Burke was the best centre back for me. And I will give Burke a lot of credit, because the thing he's come out and said, I like that interview. That was good. Obviously, we'll play it in a bit and go through it a bit more. But yeah, that, and I just think, since he's come back, like I've said, he's actually played really well in all the games, maybe bar one. But even the Oxford game the other day, he was good in that game as well. Clearing stuff away and stuff, and he has been really good. And if he carries on like this, there's no reason for me why he shouldn't be, up there for a captain conversation to take the armband. A lot of people think we don't have leaders. I think the way he's come out and said what he said in his interview, I think he can definitely be a leader. Again, my only worry is his injury record, but so far so good. You would think, right? For example, when you had Anderson back, you would have thought, Burke would have got injured before him, but Burke's still going. So, obviously we know we've got a better physio team as well than we have had. So, maybe Burke might be all right, and this could be the start of something for him, to continuously play anyway. So I don't think he was bad. I think he was the best one out of the lot, to be honest. I can't think of him at fault for the other goal from top of my head. So I'm going to go, you know what, I'll give Burke a 6.5.
I'll give him a 6.5 as well. He was playing on the right. He done all right. He can play in that position anyway. He virtually does, even in a back three sort of play like that, doesn't he? Just look more willing to go forward. More fights, particularly in the last two games. And that's why he can't be dropped. You know what I mean? And maybe that's why he put Walters more on that side as well.
Yeah, I think him and Walters would work really well, actually. If Burke's
like on that, yeah, and they have done. I think they would, but I'll give him 6.5.
Because I remember when we had Bree, they worked really well, Burke and Bree. You see, sometimes Burke was actually higher up than him.
Yeah,
and I think they could do a similar thing. So we have seen, obviously, you'd rather play Walters as a right back / right wing back, but you have seen that he can do a decent job in centre back. So even in some games, if you have Burke higher up, but obviously like playing in the centre back, but if you change it during the game in the sense of just play him higher up at times and then chop and change sort of thing. Harry says Burke for 5.5 or 6. Same with Charlie on buses as well. Moving on to the next player, Mengi. Interesting one with him. Again, not really quite his standout game. But I can't really think that he was at fault for any of the goals again from memory. He's one of them players that you still play probably because it's just Mengi, you know what I mean, can do a really good tackle at some point during the game, for example. But I think with Mengi, I'll just sit with a 6.
Yeah, I will. Sometimes he had a shot as well, I think, in the first half.
Oh, yeah, he did actually. Yeah, that weren't actually far off. We thought that was in.
Yeah. He's a quality player, but he was just a bit quiet today. It could seem that he's more effective in a back three than he is a back four. Do you know what I mean? But then again, this is the first time they've played it. Obviously, he must have done it in training, but it's not. You can't. You've got to give it a bit of time. You know what I mean? You can't go, well, it didn't work one game where we played. You've got to try it with other players and put them in the right positions and see what happens. Like, for instance, if we get Bell back, but then put him on the left, and if you can always put Walters on the wing instead of Moses or Doughty. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can switch that bit up. Just get the defence right, because that's the worst thing at the moment. Basics. Do you know what I mean? If we can sort of keep it, I think if we can stop the goals going in, it will give us more confidence to go forward and do things. But yeah, just a 6.
Yeah, no, it definitely will. Look at Sheffield United, for example. They're not scoring loads up front, but they're defending well, and that's why they're confident going into games.
Yeah, that's the
main. No matter who they've played, that's who they've got to play. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's got to play everyone. We'll see at some point what they'll do against Burnley or someone like that. But I think they'll give them a go. They haven't lost the game. So you have to give them credit where it is due. We should have competed, yes, but I'm just on about in general, not just that game. Mengi 5, Mengi 5 as well. Moving on to the next player, we'll go over to Walters. Again, difficult one because for me, he shouldn't have played where he played, but again, not a great game from him. So I think I'll go with a 5.5.
I'll give him a 5. Got a yellow card as well. He did do one sort of good clearance near towards the end. And still was battling on. you know, because we know he's got that quality, but he was clearly like he struggled in that position, and you know he still played there, you know. So I'm just going to give him 5.
Yeah, fair enough. Walter's 7 or 6.5. Fair enough. Walter's 4, says Harry. Moving on to Doughty. Now, it's a difficult one for me with Doughty because I think going forward, when we did at times in the first half, he was good at that. Sorry, not the first half, the second half. It's just some of the crossing sometimes. It's just a bit overhit, but then he can have good crosses. So I don't know. Again, it's what we say. We shouldn't be so reliant on him on crosses, and you can't blame him for that because he's being asked to do it. But I don't know. We just need to change it up. So for me, he had good moments. He did have decent moments, I felt. So I'll say for Doughty, I'll go for 6.
I'll give him a 6.5. You know, he's showing the quality that he's got. But like you say, like the corners particularly, the free kicks I don't mind. Do you know what I mean? Because I just think he is the best, you know, at taking the free kicks. But corners, I think we need to mix it up a bit. Like, you know, even if another player takes it and they don't quite take it as perfectly as maybe Doughty would or whatever, then it bamboozles players. Do you know what I mean? They're thinking, oh, like he's driven it in low or he's spooned that a little bit, but it's come to Adebayo and he flicks it on. Do you know what I mean? Sort of thing. But other than that, you know, I can't tell you. He's a stalwart at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like last season, he played virtually every game. This season, he's played every game as well. I think switching sides. You know, he is better on the left, but he, you know, again, if he's got the support, he can be just as equally good on the right as well. You know, but 6.5.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Doughty 5. 4.5. He was good. I think there was one game he was good since he signed it. Bit Sheffield Wednesday at home. But again, it's like you said, Daddy. He's played a lot. You know, he has played a lot, and it's just one where I don't know. I just when Bell comes out, I just want him to chop and change because I just don't want us to be so reliant on him. But we probably won't change it. Like we'll just stick with him and then put Bell somewhere else. Probably it's just but I don't know. It's just frustrating. If he's so reliant on him, I'll be honest. I'm surprised he ain't got injured for how many games he's played. Like majorly injured, to be honest. So he's got to manage these players as well. Like yeah. Moving on to the next players, we'll go over to Nakamba first. Like I touched on earlier, not the best of games for me from him. Obviously, he got substituted. I don't know, because yes, he's getting into the swing of things again, but he's had more than enough games now for me, and he hasn't really lit up any trees, like he did on his loan spell, for example. I don't know, man. I think for me, I'm gonna go 5.5. It's disappointing, man.
He was a bit absent, you know what I mean? We've seen that in a couple of games. It is because he's not back up to full fitness, and also it's a bit because of how we're playing. Before he would be there back, letting everyone else get forward and do that, and then tidying up things like that. And it's the way we're playing isn't helping him either. You know what I mean? So I'm just going to give him a 6.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. 4.5 says Charlie on that one. Kraus, moving on to Kraus. One of the better players in this game for me. You can tell he's getting very frustrated. There was a moment where he won the ball off their player, but obviously it went out for a corner. And the way he turned, he was just frustrated. You know, he was like, "Come on, like, what's going on?" And I feel sorry for him because, again, similar to the Plymouth game, yeah, people could say he didn't have the best of games in there, but at the same time, he's playing alongside Clark, who is better attacking, not in a centre midfield position. So I felt sorry for him in this game. You know, I felt sorry for him. You know, he's come in and we've been awful. Really, we've been awful. You know, the games he's obviously come in for, the Sheffield Wednesday game, he must be part of going on to win that game. The Oxford game, he was, for me, the best player until obviously he had to come off. Obviously got his goal as well, and I just feel sorry for him. You know, this game, I really do. Because, like I say, Nakamba weren't great for me in this game. So he was struggling at times, but not because of him himself. It's just around him. It's just not great. So for me, I'll give him a bit of a higher rating because, like I say, I did feel a bit sorry for him. I'll go 6.5.
No, I'll give him a 7. I thought he was decent. Thought he was passionate. You know, he's very frustrated. He's younger, but he was still like, "What are you lot doing?" Basically, I like that. You know, we've got him on loan. You know, carry on like this. But he won't want to join. I don't know what the exact deal is, but do you know what I mean? I like him. I think he does influence games. I did think he might have been rested because you know he apparently was knackered and that, but obviously he wasn't that knackered. And he was lively, you know, but frustrated with the rest of the teams. They're not doing their job or playing the right way. He can't, similar to the Nakamba thing, they can't play their best game, and that's what it is. So that's why you go back to basics. You know, you play the simple passes, you play, you know, the simple moves, the triangles, the feistiness, you know, just basic stuff, and then you develop from there. And that's really, really Burke's right. That's what we need to do. But a lot of people are saying, why haven't we done that in the first place? But it's because I guess we've got quality players, and you know we have still won games, and we're just thinking, yeah, that's it now. It's clicked. It's going to click. It's going to click, but it doesn't. It resets again. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, you know, when you first playing FIFA or something, Tyler, do you know what I mean? So that's the shoot button, but you got to run into the, you know, near the penalty. You were just pressing shoot all the time. It's just like, what's happened? You know, nice football. There was times at the end of last season, and we didn't have some of these players, that we looked like a Premier League team. The way we were passing it around. I think, you know, when we beat Watford 2-0, them goals, especially the first one, that was brilliant.
Yeah, the first one.
At the time of Brighton, best football I've seen, you know, Luton play at home for years. And at other times as well, do you know what I mean? But there's none of that. And you can't just particularly blame it on, like, oh, it's because we ain't got Barkley and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
Like, brought in players
who
can get forward, you know. I've seen enough. You know, Barkley's a one-off. You know, let's be honest. But we've got Moses here as well. Now, he must be thinking, what the fuck? Do you know what I mean? But I thought he was decent, so I'm going to give him a 7.
Yeah.
And I've said it before, the signings we have made, you know, the only questionable one that people are going on about really is McGuinness, but I think he'll get there. You know, I think Hashioka's probably the worst signing we've made. You know, there's always one, but it's hard to be too critical of him because he has been injured a lot. So, you know, Kraus has been decent. Baptiste Walters generally has been fine. Moses just outstanding. Let's be honest. Mengi, I know we signed him last season, but you know the players we have signed, I've kind of said it's the players that are already there that haven't stepped up as much. That's the thing. Well, it's not. It's the manager. It's just as well. There's something not right there.
The way you were playing, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, Kraus, I'll give him a 7.
Yeah. Harry says 6. Tried to chase for everything. Yeah, he did. Big up to Luca in the chat as well. Then moving on to Clark. We'll go over to Clark. Again, he's playing up front, which is just stupid. I mean, he did have that shot, which got us a corner. It's a funny one with Clark, right? Because I remember being at Preston and he had a shot, and people were like, "Why are you shooting from there?" But he gets a corner every time, and people are doing it as well at Sheffield United. But I like that from Clark. That's one thing I do like about him. Obviously, I'm sick, what he done for us and that to get us to the Premier League. But one part of his game, even when he's not playing the best, that he does do that I like is that he does take on them shots from outside the box, or as soon as he comes inside the box, just like I like that from him, because sometimes for me, especially this season, we haven't took pop shots. We're trying to run it into the box at times and play this tiki taka nonsense. Do you know what I mean? We're not Man City. What's that all about? So I actually thought in this game he was I like that from him. Again, he shouldn't be playing up front though. He's never played up front in his life. unless when he was at non-league teams. It's the only time I can maybe think that he has. But even at Accrington Stanley, I managed to actually find some of their fans, and they told me he didn't do that. So why are we doing that? It's just ridiculous. So for me, and the thing is, just quickly before I give a rating, he's not the tallest of players either. So why are we even putting him up front? I can understand it a bit more if we had a midfielder who was taller and we put there. Obviously, it'd still be stupid, but yeah, for me, I'm going to say I won't go too high. I'll just go with a 6.
I'll give him 6.5. I thought he ran his socks off, but it was just it's not his position. He nearly scored for us. It just didn't work. Like if and this is the Taylor debate, isn't it? When if you don't rate Taylor, we went 2 up front. We kind of maybe expected that he would, but didn't. And if you ain't got that, don't believe he's ready to step up or whatever yet, or you're punishing him because he wanted to. I have no idea, but put Woodrow up front with him then. Because to be fair to Woodrow, pretty lively every time he's come on. You know what I mean? But then it's like, I'm going to make captain. Burke,
Kaminsky, Moses. There's people there. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't care if he's just joined the club. This is Victor Moses, brother. Yeah, we need to utilise this guy. Seriously.
So yeah, I'll just give him a 6.5. I'm not going to be too harsh on him because
because he was up front. Yeah, it was stupid. We were playing long balls to him. He's not going to win headers, is he? Come on now. Yeah, he does sometimes, but come on, man. Up front, no, he's not.
He might be contested, yeah, but
yeah, exactly. Yeah, ridiculous. Yeah, we're obviously chanting that. Hey T, Duzzy, chat. Big up to yourself, Spencer. Obviously, I know it's auto correct there. I meant to say Duzzy, but yeah, you've got to love whatever type of phone you're using or whatever you're watching on. But big up to yourself, mate. Moses. Now moving on to Moses. Again, felt sorry for him, similar to Kraus, because what I like about Moses, and again, you'd expect a player of his quality to do that, but when he's on the ball, he just drives. He just gives it a go. He was fouled quite a lot in this game as well. I did feel, and obviously the referee weren't too bad, to be fair. I felt anyway. We were just terrible, but he did actually give us free kicks when we should have, maybe by 1 or 2, but predominantly Moses. He was trying to drive at players, go at them, do his usual. Obviously, we weren't using him as much. I don't want to see us utilise someone like a lot, like always try and pass it to him. But I don't know. I felt we should have just tried it a bit more, but very lackluster performance, as we know. So, me with Moses, I'll go 6.5.
He was close to being, up there for me. I thought every time he got on the ball, he had real quality. There was times I was thinking, you're going to lose it, but he didn't. Reminds me of how Barkley was last season for us in midfield. He could probably play anywhere, in midfield or up front. I thought he would be, up front in the front three, but obviously weren't. He was in that position, and it just because of the way we were playing again. This is what I'm talking about. You're not going to get the best of him, but every time he got on the ball, he looked dangerous. He won at their defence. He was fearless. You know what I mean? Because he's got that experience. He's got that quality. I'm glad that we've got him because I think he can really help, especially over these 2 weeks. Hopefully, if he's vocal and that, that's what we need. We need to work really, really hard and just get that team spirit up and all that. And I think he could be a massive part of that because he is like Ross Barkley of last season. He is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So he needs to be starting every game, unless you know what I mean, as possible. Utilize him, don't put him. I guess if we were playing decent, he would have been better in that position because we'd have been blowing it to him and things like that. But I thought every time he got on the ball, he always looks dangerous. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you feel something's going to happen.
Yeah, you do,
yeah.
And I can't wait to see it happen more. This is a signing that we are pleased about, but it's like the Barclays. But because of the way the rest of the team's playing, it doesn't seem that significant. But believe me, it is. If the rest of them start playing, then he'll lay it off to people. He's excellent across. His all-round gameplay is brilliant. Let's be honest. So Yeah, 7.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Nah, it's all good, Spencer. Don't worry about it. Victor Moses, captain. I know he's new, but very experienced. Exactly. You got a player like that. You know, you can't put him as captain for me. Just take Clark off it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not hard, is it? It's really not hard. Do you think he's going to have a massive fit if he comes off captain? I don't think so, mate. Do you know what I mean? 'Cause it's not even like he's the top two leaders anyway, is he? It's Morris and Bell, you would say.
Yeah, it's
You
been
know?
in the club long and that, and I respect that. But so
Yeah,
so
yeah. I'm not,
been there
but
long
just
enough.
as a cap, it's not deep. It's a fucking arm, and do you know what I mean? Like, come on now, like, give it a rest. Give it to
No,
Moses,
but
bro.
if it works, like captains
But
that
it's
are
not working, bro.
captains, yeah, exactly, and they will be captains. Yeah,
Yeah, and
I
it's
thought
not. So
potentially Morris, but I don't think he's not as fight. He was very feisty in the Premier League, wasn't he?
yeah, it was. Yeah,
And you could see why he was kind of captain then. But this season, I haven't really seen it. It's more frustration from him than anything. And I guess it's a hard decision to make, but normally I think it would be Bell because he's just calm generally, isn't he? And
yeah,
I just think he has got a lot of respect for the players. He's underestimated by us sometimes. We do miss him. But yeah, we'll see. I'm pretty sure that Morris will be back for the next game, and he will
I
probably
think
be.
so.
But yeah,
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with that. But just for me, Moses, Burke, or Kaminsky, they're my top three. But obviously, Morris should be back, so it probably will be him, which I don't mind. But yeah, but like after his last game, hopefully continues that, especially in that next game. Moses 7. Moses definitely felt sorry for him. Looked like he had enough of how the game was going. Yeah, exactly. 6. Yeah, exactly that. And then moving on to the last player that started, Elijah. I don't know what to say. Didn't really have a big chance in this game, really. Like unlike Plymouth and Oxford, for example. But there was just a few moments where I don't like that we do the long balls a lot. Well, a fair bit anyway. But at the same time, I don't know, just weren't really trying to even attempt to chase them down at times. And we were getting a bit frustrated. So not the best of performances from Elijah. And again, yes, it shouldn't be one up front, whatever. Or we should play Clark up front with him. It's not a striker or whatever. But at the same time, not this game, but the last 2 games, he should have scored. Let's not lie about that at all, especially Plymouth. So for me, in this game, I don't know. I think I'm going to go with a 5.5, to be honest.
I'll give him 6.5. I think he was still knackered after the last game. I like the fact that he won that free kick. When he turned matey boy, that was good. He had no choice.
Oh
to
yeah,
take
I thought he got seriously
but
hurt.
again, service. He didn't get any service. Do you know what I mean? He still kind of run his socks off, but he knew the way the game was going. You know what I mean? It just didn't work out. But I still think he worked hard, considering he probably shouldn't have started. So I'm going to give him a 6.5 still.
Fair enough. Interesting ratings. Eli 2 or 3, 4 needs to be dropped for me. Start Morris and Taylor up front. Yeah, I'll definitely.
Well, think about that.
If you go with the original formation, yeah, then I would put Morris up front. Then I would go Brown probably, Brown on the left and Moses on the right. That's probably what I'd go with. But I'd like to play 2 up front, but I don't know. It might happen, guys. But it's just will he put the right players there? I mean, I wouldn't mind Taylor. That would be interesting. But again, I can't see it. There's more chances of like Morris and Brown if Elijah's not playing, but probably will be Morris and Elijah, won't it, Dud?
Yeah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I think Brown up front instead of Clark. Brown should have been up there. Even for I know he's been in a long-term injury as well, but even for like 60 minutes or whatever, and then bring Woodrow on or Taylor on or whatever, I think that would have worked more. The fact that Brown didn't start was a bit potentially, like, considering the way he
And
ended up.
he would have had that extra motivation as well, because I didn't actually realise until Luton put them bits out on Twitter before the games and stuff. They put the Yorkshire lad. Like, I didn't realise he's from Yorkshire, so they've had that extra determination. I think you did see that, to be fair, when he come on.
Yeah, and you would have. There's a few Morris as well, maybe. But anyway, Elijah 6.5.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Yeah, I agree, Jackie. And again, that's why I say I would drop him for the next game. And again, I think he needs what Morris had, in the sense of being dropped.
He won't be dropped. He won't be dropped. I'll tell you why he won't be dropped. He won't be dropped because we've got a 2-week break. Should give him enough time to recover. And Morris, but I want him up front with Morris. That's what I want. He won't.
Yeah, I mean, it worked. It did work, didn't it, when it has happened previously? I'm just laughing at this comment. Honestly, it's facts. Once Eli gets the goal, it'd be like Morris. But I'm not. Me personally, I'm not going to keep saying it because it's just repetitive. It's like, when's it actually going to happen? Do you know what I'm saying? When it happens, though, I agree. You see it with Morris. He got a goal, then he got another one in the same game.
Yeah, he cannot play with one up front against Watford. I just don't think. I think you've got to go. You've got to go at him. You've got to
utilise.
Just got to go at him. That's what I think. I can't.
Especially being at home.
Back and they score. It's done. I don't, because of the confidence we've got now. I just think that. I mean, look at us. Oxford, we went 2-0 up, but we didn't really felt that we deserved it. I know it sounds we didn't. Do you know what I mean?
I agree.
Mistakes that they scored in that, but it just wasn't like I like us seeing us build up, attack, and then score. Like this was, I just felt the way we were playing. Still, we were lucky with them goals because we got a little bit of quality. Kraus there fighting, and things like that. And then that 2 players coming on who ain't really, you need to switch it up. But Jacob Brown.
I do agree. I had no service at all. Yeah, exactly. So there we go with that. When it comes to that, well, I won't be going to it, guys. So I'll be doing a watch along. So I'll tell you what, Jesus, that could be very, very interesting to say the least. But there still will be fan cams, by the way. David will be going to that, so that could be interesting and all, isn't it? Okay, but yeah, moving on to substitutions. We'll start off with Brown. Talking about Brown, good again when he come on. Showed glimpses of what he can do. He is, in some people's opinion, should be in the conversation of starting. I mean, I would say it. I do agree with you, Dad. Elijah probably won't be dropped, but I would like to see Morris and Brown up front. That would be quite interesting. Again, I'd like to see Taylor as well, but that's not going to happen. There's more chance of Brown, like I say, so I would like to see that. And he's doing well. He's getting stuck in. He is trying. So give him the credit there. Really, I'll go 6.5.
Yeah, I thought he was decent when he come on. It seems to me that he's unaffected, like the rest of the squad seem to be with confidence and this, that, and the other. Well, he's unaffected. So sometimes that's what you need, isn't it? Players who are on the bench itching to come on, play, do whatever, who are unaffected, then start them, because then that can help, spread throughout the rest of the team. It gives them a bit more confidence. Well, right, you know what I mean? Psychologically as well. I want to see him possibly start in the next game, depending how we line up. But yeah, 6.5.
Yep, absolutely. Good to see you in the chat. If we play basic 4-4-2, it's better than most teams in Champ. But Edwards want to do something flash. Yeah, that's the annoying thing, And
does seem like that.
Shout out to obviously the OK Football podcast as well. Obviously, I went on that yesterday to do a phone in. A lot of people on that were saying, we don't care about this football. We just want to win games. And I was saying that a couple of weeks ago. It's frustrating. Why are we like? Why is everyone trying to play like Man City? It's ridiculous. No one's got the level of that team. Yes, they're the best team in the country. They are. So they won the league most recently, a top league. Well, season upon season. So as it stands, they are. but no one's got that depth. Do you know what I mean? It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Like, has he not seen Burnley try playing like that last year? They got relegated in the end. Do you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't want to sort of play that, I guess, that old school Luton way, you could say, of just, grinding out them results and having less possession and that. Like, I don't care about possession. I really don't. I just want to win football games. That's why I was happy, not convinced, but that's why I was happy when we beat Sheffield Wednesday, for example, because we won the game. That's all that
Yeah,
matters.
touch on that because they had 72% possession or something like that. That's probably the first time, well, first time, but when, where we've had less possession, like a lot less possession, and haven't done anything at all. Do you know what I mean? Probably
Yeah.
more possession against Man City in both games. 3 games we played in last season. We scored 3 goals against them in 3 games. Do you know what I mean? 2 like worldy goals as well. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Clark's in the FA Cup.
Coming from midfield. What? Yeah. Let's move on.
Yeah. No, but I do definitely agree. Brown 6 actually tried when he come on the stages, I think, where he got through and no one was there. Yeah, there was, to be fair. And that's the thing. He's trying and he's coming on. And we said it does. He will be good when he comes back, and he has showed that. As much as he hasn't quite scored yet, he's shown them glimpses, hasn't he? So, yeah, moving on. Woodrow, again, to be fair to him, the last 2 times he's come on, he's actually done all right. He's done a nice pass, the Plymouth game, and he done okay in this.
He's working hard, man. He's working hard.
He is, to be fair to him. So again, I think I'll go 6.5.
Yeah, I agree. He's working hard. 6.5. He's chasing balls down. He's showing a bit of passion. Do you know what I mean? Again, sorry, maybe he's saying he. Everyone's going on about Taylor, but he hasn't started a game yet either. And you could arguably say he's looked better than Taylor. And they've both come on. I think so. So there's another one there. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, 6.5.
Well, it's like I say, one position I was confident with going into the season was up front, because we got loads of options. So it's one of them. It's not everyone's favourite, but he does put in a shift most of the time. To be fair to him, when he does play, not necessarily games he does start in, but games where he comes on, he does make the impact most of the time. So I don't know. He's another one that's in. He has to be in the conversation. It's not working with the current strikers, is it? Yeah, it sort of did for Morris in the last game, but he's out at the moment, so he's got to be in there for me. 5.5 worked hard. Yeah, no, he did. And then moving on to Taylor. Again, tried a few bits. Tried to get him onto long balls at times. But just didn't quite work for him. So I'll just go over 6.
Yeah, same. Nothing really come off for him. Do you know what I mean? But again, down to a lot we're playing. We weren't playing to his strengths. This is what I get worried about. It's like, who's got to learn the Luton way? Well, how about incorporate some of his way that got him 2 top scoring, loan spells and like player of the month and all that in 2 different clubs. You give it, you've got to learn this way and that. But he went there, albeit at lower levels, but still started straight away. Nearly got a team into the playoffs, or did get a team into the playoffs as well. Come on, man. Well, I think he deserves at least to start at least, and then see if he plays absolutely poorly and looks out of his depth. Then you can go, yeah, fair enough. Do you know what I mean? But I don't think it's been given enough opportunity, and there's got to be more reason to that. There has to be. We felt that we wanted him back. Do you remember? Like, yeah, in the summer, he's got to be involved, and it just seems like he's only involved because he couldn't get a move somewhere else, because we didn't trust him enough. That's the impression I'm getting. Because if he did, he would have been starting coming off the bench a lot more earlier, and things like that. You're going for it. Even in the cup, he didn't even start. Was it in the cup? We expected him to start, and he didn't.
Yeah, QPR in the League Cup.
Yeah. And then you're bringing Nelson on with 2 minutes to go, like younger. I'll just give him a 6, but he's not been given enough opportunity to prove himself, unless in training he's looking absolutely dog shit. I cannot see that. I just cannot see that. So there must be.
He's got a point to not necessarily prove to us as fans, because we want him to start. Do you know what I mean? We're always praising him, and that, even after the game, you know.
We want to see what he's capable of.
We want to see the team to show why he should be in.
Yeah.
There's no way for me why he's not proving a point, you know, in training, like you say.
And that's why everyone's gunning for it, because they haven't seen enough of him to go, all right, I agree with you, Rob. He's not quite at the level. Or, you know, this, that, and the other. But because you haven't showed that or whatever, then we're just going to think, well, look what he done last season at 2 different clubs. That's all we're looking at. He scored like 21 goals. You know, that's hard going to this club and doing that. You know, it takes a lot of balls and that. And he's only young as well. You know, when Mick Arthur signed him, when we signed him, they were talking about comparing him. He was like the next Craig McCall-Smith. Yeah, he was a very good player at Peterborough, and us when we was lower down. And you're like, nah, not starting. He still needs to learn the level, and that was a good few months ago, but nothing since. And I never hear anyone questioning. Well, apart from us, do you know what I mean? But I don't hear it on the radio and that the big media outlets like, why ain't he starting? Why ain't he given a chance? Again, with Joe Johnson, he was meant to, we thought he would start a lot of games this season. In one game against Burnley, but I'm not even going to blame him too much on that, because look what's happened since. He played since.
I know.
You know, apparently, you know, when we look at a lot of statistics, we look at analyze this, that, and the other. Sometimes you have got to go back to basics as well, you know, because them statistics must look dog shit. So what's making you keep going
with the same thing week on week?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. But yeah, I'll just give him a 6.
Yeah. No, it's like Harry says here as well. I agree. He works hard. The thing that impresses me of him, he chases for absolutely everything. Whereas you see some of them just jogging to the ball sometimes. Not once I've seen that of him. No, exactly. And that's the thing, you'll see in it. It goes back to what I say. It's showing that he wants to prove that point to, you know, Rob Edwards and the staff. You know, because we know it's
the way we play. That's the point there. That is the way we normally play, isn't it?
Yeah. Exactly.
Get on him, stay on him, and he won the tackle. Do you remember? And he come on against Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah. Sheffield Wednesday. Yeah, great tackle.
Hey, right, you've got to have that about you.
And he'd have been perfect for this game.
Fast flowing football. I haven't seen none of that this season.
No, I think he'd have been perfect in this game up front with Elijah. You know, personally, but it just doesn't start, as we know. Moving on to the next player, Baptiste. Again, another player that was good when he come on. Obviously, we spoke on the phone, Dad, a few hours after the game, and you know, you were saying he's very, he was good, and you know that's why, in your opinion, he should have started, and he was good. I have to agree. He was making things, or trying to make things happen anyway, and he warrants a start, I would say, against Watford. I mean, let me know in the chat what you guys think. I mean, I think he does, to be honest. You know, especially now that you've got Solskjaer still as well. Yeah, they're quite similar in ways in that scenario. But yeah, Baptiste, I would start him. He's got that experience as well. 50-odd games in the Premier League. You know, he's a player you've got to use for me. You know, and he was good before he got injured, wasn't he? So, yeah, I would agree that he should start that game. But yeah, in this game, I'll go 6.5 as well, same as Woodrow and that.
I'll give him a 7.
I was going to go for a 7.
Wanted to get on the ball. We've missed him 100%. I think he should start with Kraus next game. I think they'd work well together, really do. He just looks up for it, and he's been like that pretty much all season, even in the friendlies and that. And he can deliver certain balls into the box better than Doughty can. I think I'm so glad he's back from injury, and I think I would have started him personally, but as you know, but I'll give him a 7. I thought he was decent.
Yeah, no, it was good for sure when he come on. Baptiste 6. Should start him, says Charlie. He got through a couple of times and had no support either. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. A lot of times, right, for us as well, it's been like we've played a pass and it's not worked because like either no one quite gets onto it or it's just not, quite
I
where
tell you,
we want it. It's
I
like
think
he was doing good passes and no one was there. It's like what? It's just frustrating. But what was you going to say, Dad?
yeah, like another thing I was thinking that's missing, and maybe that will come, and we discussed it a little bit earlier. Like I said, when Barkley come into the club, there was a big thing was made of like his experience and his ability and that, but also how he would help the rest of the team play in the Premier League because of his experience and etc. etc. And I know, and we should be having the same excitement for that playing with Moses. Do you know what I mean? If not more, Moses is a more decorated player than Ross Barkley is, and I just don't see that because I've seen a couple of people pass it to him you know what I mean, but. They need to. I know you said earlier you don't need to work, but if he's creating things, think the fucking ball. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, I agree. You got to utilize him. Definitely. When you got a player like that, and you want to use
They
him
need to
higher
get
up.
used to him because if they know, like with Barkley, they learn that he can keep hold of the ball. If you run next to him, and you'll know that he'll be able to keep hold of it and lay it off to you quickly and stuff like that. I watched the Aston Villa game the other day, and they gave man of the match to fucking Man United defender Johnny Evans, right? But Barkley, and I heard it in the crowd. Every time he had the ball, he'd make the right decision. He'd make the right pass. He'd play the through balls, which then they fucked up. Do you know what I mean? I thought he was their best player.
He was good in that game. Yeah,
Back to him clapping all the time because he was. Do you know what I mean? I felt he was underrated in that, and that's what he done with us. Obviously, he wasn't taking any free kicks there because they got other players who could take them on that. But they didn't play that great. But for me, for his first start for him, I thought he was decent, and he was just doing the basics. He's just so calm and easy on the ball. That is so underestimated in this day and age, I think. And I think Baptiste's a little bit like that. Between Baptiste and Kraus, you've got that. And obviously Moses, you've got the more attacking directness. He can get across in that. Barkley couldn't really cross it in, maybe from dead ball situations. But that's it. But I think in certain ways, Moses is we can utilise him better than we can. And then we're in the Championship as well. The players are scared of him. When he did run at Sheffield United defenders, they were backtracking. Like they were trying to attack us, thinking, actually, we can't get the ball off this guy. Like he's just intelligence and his close touch is just phenomenal. You know what I mean? So yeah, and he started. I didn't give a shit if he was up front. Do you know what I mean? I think it'd be decent. It's one of them guys. Nilsson, non-applicable, mate. There's just no point. Like he didn't.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. Non-applicable for Nelson. I didn't understand it there. Yeah, I really didn't understand it. I just thought that's the point. It's ridiculous. But yeah, that's that when it comes to the player ratings. So Kaminsky, Dad, he's now level with Baptiste, just like that. Back to back, he's got 2 votes from us in the last 2 games. Obviously, the points, I said a Sheffield United win. I did actually think we'd score. Obviously, I said 2-1, but we didn't score. See,
can you just read out the people who have got man of the match?
Yeah. I'll read out the number of votes as well. So Baptiste has got 4. So him and Kaminsky are joint top as it stands. Mengi's got 2. Clark's got 2. Nelson's got 2. Burke's got 1. Walsh has got 1. McGuinness has got 1. Morris has got 1. Doughty's got 1. And Moses has got 1.
So a lot of them are new signings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's not where we've gone wrong. I know for some people, we should have signed Raksu, we should have signed Thingy because he scored 4 goals for Stoke and this, that, and the other. But, if they're asking over the odds and there's no guarantee, it's easy to say that now because he scored 4 goals and 8 points. It's easy to say that now, isn't it? But look how crap we've been playing. It's easy. And we've still got January as well. Let's not forget that.
For me, I don't even look at that. I just think to myself, well, nah, these players are good. You know, we're giving them ratings and that. They're coming in and doing well. So for me, it's just the way we're playing. And again, not all of that, you know, it's a difficult one. Some people say some players need to step up, but it's like, well, they're not really playing the right way with the players. And I think some of the players are not agreeing with it. Look, you know, again, we'll play Burke's interview in a minute, but like even what he was saying was basically saying like, you know, he doesn't like the way we're playing, but he's not directly said that, but sort of saying we need to go back to basics. You know, that's basically saying that, isn't it? So, you know, it's one of them. But yeah, we will get into that Burke interview. So 1 second, I will play it in a second. Did do a little test earlier to make sure I wouldn't get copyright. But yeah, we are gonna play it any second now, and then go through what he said and stuff like that. But as you can see by the title and down here, he said to go back to basics, and he didn't say it once. He said it twice. Different ways of saying it, but he did say it over and over again. I only managed to watch this morning because what Luton used to do is obviously I didn't put out Rob Edwards' interview on YouTube, which I usually do very shortly after the game. We usually watch it on there. And then sometimes they'd put a player one out the day after. And obviously that is what they done, but they didn't put it on YouTube this time. They just put it on Twitter and the website. So we'll go through what he said. So we'll play it now.
Becky, what were your thoughts on that out there?
Yeah, no, frustrating. We can't deny, obviously, we're sort of a bit bad form at the moment. But I think it's important for us to stick together. At the end of the day, it's only us that can sort of change that. But yeah, it's frustrating. Obviously, we want to win games, and it's just not happening for us at the moment. I think we just need to start doing our basics well. I think that's the problem. We ain't doing our basics well. You know what I mean? Giving opposition too many easy chances. So yeah, very frustrating at the moment.
As a player who's been here a while and you're all over the pitch today, how important is it that you keep that fight and keep that determination for 90 minutes?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Listen, I'll work my socks off and I'll do the best I can for the team. It's about keeping that positivity in the change room. Doing my part for the team and getting everyone going. And as I say, trying to be positive. No point being negative. That's not going to change anything at the moment. So, as I said, we need to go back to basics, start doing the basics well. We've got a game coming up. So, that's a must win for us.
Is that important during the break to stay positive, keep it going, and then go into that next game after?
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, we've got a few players coming back from injury. Plus, it gives us time to train and work hard. And as I say, start being horrible to play against. I think that's the problem at the moment, being too nice to play against. And yeah, we know we've got a big game next, and it's a big game for us as players and the fans. So yeah, it's a must win.
So yeah, that's what Burke said on the game. And I also, as much as the basics, you know, he said that loads of times. You know, I'd actually love to see a number count of how many times he said it. But I like the bit where he said about you know, being too easy to play against as well. And that's exactly what it was like the other day. You know, and we've been saying it. We need to make, all right, we weren't at home for this game, but we need to make the home form count. And like Kenilworth Road, that's not a fortress anymore. People go there and think, yeah, we can win this. Like, it's not good enough. Like, you come down from the Premier League, right? And you know, the teams that have just come up, for example, like Oxford, when they come there, they were thinking, you know, they can win this game. And I don't blame them for that, but it shouldn't be the case. You know, it should not be the case at all. So yeah, it was a good interview. You know, he said it how it was, and I like that. You know, I like that from Burke, and I can't blame him. You know, for it at the moment. So I think he's been, you know, one of the better players. You know, in the recent games, like I said, especially since he's come back. I think he's been immense, and honestly, just through that interview, I'd probably give him the captain's armband. Do you know what I mean? Like, because he knows what it's about. He's saying the Watford game's a must-win, which obviously, you know, anyone should know that anyway. But, you know, he's saying we need to go back to basics. It's too easy for teams to play against us, basically. And it is. It's a joke. It shouldn't be like that. So totally agree with him. But yeah, what did you make of
thought
this?
it was quite effective, like, I'm reading in between the lines there, you know, that must win. He kept mentioning, you know, his indirect. He was thinking about what he was saying. Do you know what I mean? Try not to say certain things. I feel like to disgruntle Rob Edwards.
Yeah.
You know, unless Rob Edwards has gone to him and said, "Yeah, you can say it." No, I don't think so. I think in the background, let's remember that him and certain other players, many left now, played under Nathan Jones, and he always had an answer. You know, if we were struggling or not doing this, that, and the other, he'd come out, you'd hear him, he'd come out and go, "You won't see that from Luton again," and you wouldn't for 15 games. You might see it again, you know, but you wouldn't see it for a long time. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like he's thinking along them lines as well. Like, we're not fighting for every ball. That's the basic stuff. Yeah, we've got more talent now, but if you still fight for it, look what Brighton done the other day, 2-0 down against Tottenham, and then that's what we should be like. Do you know what I mean? We've got players that can hurt other teams. It's just like they don't know what they're doing, and it has to come down to the manager. And I think part of him saying it's a must-win game as well is he kind of knows that, you know, some of them players who've played in them derbies before know exactly what it's about, and that is going to help us. But if certain players or tactics and that don't work, they will start turning on the manager. Do you know what I mean? They will, and that's what I was kind of reading between the lines on that personally. You know,
Yeah.
Let's not get. I like Rob. You know, I think he's a great guy. I think he, you know, he did inherit Nathan Jones's team, but the changes he did make and the additions he did make got us well over the line. We could have maybe even finished third. I feel like Nathan Jones was kind of, we just kept playing long ball. Do you know what I mean? He did bring a different dynamic. Premier League, we definitely competed. There was holes, but there's going to be holes where it's a young manager, but he just doesn't seem to know how to fix it. And this is what I've said to you before. His assistants are potentially as experienced, or if not more experienced with him. What's going on there? You know, there was a point where I think I saw Kevin Dearden shouting at one of the players. This is the goalkeeping coach. I don't think you'd see that at other clubs unless he's shouting at the goalkeeper. There's nothing to shout Kaminsky about. You know, if Shea had come on and was playing up front, then I'd get it. But I don't understand, like, who was it he shouting at? You know, why did he feel the need? But again, respect, this is another guy who's been at the club for a long time. Yeah. So he's worked under different certain managers, probably even John Steele, them times, yeah, and Nathan Jones. So if he's coming out and shouting instructions, what does that say about Rob Edwards? So it is make or break. This is the game that hopefully we just turn up and we turn it around and then take it from there. Because if we don't, it's got to be game over for him. It has to be game over. And I feel sorry for him, but as a person, not financially, because he'll be minted, and he will do well somewhere else. Do you know what I mean? Maybe he needs to reset himself. I just think he's struggling with how to turn it around. He just don't know what to do, and he's trying everything. And he overthinks. I think he just overthinks things. Personally, that's what I'm thinking.
No, I agree. I agree. No, definitely. It's one of them. It's like the only annoying thing for me, yeah, if we lose against Watford and then we sack him after or whatever, they have that satisfaction.
Yeah,
and they're the club that's known to do that.
But we could have the better satisfaction. You know, he's done better for us than he did for them. He's took us up to the Premier League. He's still got credit in his bank. Yeah. He won't manage them again. and you know, we still like his character and that. Maybe even like we took Nathan Jones back in the past. You know, if he goes out, ties his trade, does well, future, and then you know stuff happens. Potentially, we take him back again, wouldn't we? Because he knows the club, he knows the philosophy and that. He's just got to find it real quick. He's got to go back to that. You know, I'm not going to change too much, but now you seem to have changed way too much. You've got to find that balance, and you'll be absolutely fucking fine. And if we can find that against Watford, that would be a big, you know, lift. So let's see what happens. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, if there's one game where you can definitely turn it around from fans that are Rob Edwards out, you know, it is that game. But you have to play it right. You know, if you are going to play two up front, you have to play two strikers. You know, put Doughty on the left. Well, I don't mind if put Doughty on the left or right, but just don't put Real Waters on the left or whatever. It's just not good.
You could still play three at the back. You know, 3-5-2. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like I've said, guys, I don't mind three at the back, but you just got to have more cover in midfield, and still two up front. That's my opinion personally. When it comes to that, so yeah, I mean that's that on that. I mean, Dud, any final things you want to say? Obviously, it'll be a few weeks now until we're back.
Well, obviously, it'll be interesting to see if McGuinness does. I don't think he'll probably start for Ireland, but I think it'd be good for him that he's involved. Because I don't think he's been terrible. I just think the whole team has, and like I said before, coming into a new team that's performing badly is just not going to help you. Do you know what I mean? You know, I do rate him. I'm not too fussed about how he looks like a stat. You know what I mean? Like he's done enough for me to show that he's decent enough. And I remember Mengi being a little bit wobbly like that initially. And also Osho. And Osho continued to do that at certain times. You know what I mean? So I'm not that bothered. I'm hoping that he might start. You know what I mean? He can meet old Chio, even though they didn't play together, I don't think. But you know, Chio would be like, "What's going on?" I don't know. But yeah. I don't know. We just look forward to the international break. Sometimes it is. We used to hate them, but sometimes
the 2 times this year I've actually enjoyed it.
Other teams up as well. Definitely might have been in form, and sometimes it's better to keep playing them games. And then when you come back, someone puts it on you. You lose one, then you start losing your form and things like that. But us, it has come at a better time. I think there is a lot of pressure to get it right though this time, but sometimes people work better under pressure, and
there's no bigger game to.
It has to turn it around, and I want it to turn around, of course, because I think once it does, then we'll be fine.
If it does,
I don't think we'll go up, but I think we'll be fine. I think we'll build. You know, I don't mind. Yeah, just keep it there. Just, you know what I mean? Like, you've still got the potential. You've still got that more. You know, we was talking about players coming to us under Nathan Jones because we was getting a new stadium and this, that, and the other. And that was pre-COVID, and then all that stuff happened. And that now that's a more of that's an actual closer reality as well. Do you know what I mean? And we've been in the Premier League, so we've still got that hole. We can pay high wages to a certain extent. We're not going to get robbed, but we can, you know what I mean? We can still, if we're going for certain players in January as well, offload as well, then that could help us as well. You know, it's always a chance that you can make a late run for the playoffs as well, at least in Championship. I've seen it happen on loads of occasions. The teams just start off the season absolutely. I think Millwall done it one season. They were absolutely appalling us, and then they just start building, and then end up getting in the playoffs or whatever. I say it does happen, but it has to be. Then, you know, the Watford game's the catalyst.
Yeah, there's no bigger game, is there, for him to do that.
And I think so much so that even if we perform 100 times better and we still lose, I still think that's not. Do you know what I mean? I think you have to win it. I think that's what Burke is going on about.
Yeah, Yeah, totally. Right, especially the thing for me, is being at home. You know, we have to make it count. Seriously. Like, yes, we haven't played each other regularly, in recent years, but again, the team predominantly, the team that tends to be at home tends to win. And I was thinking about it earlier, actually. I think when they beat us 4-0 at their ground, they weren't in the best of form going into it.
No, they weren't. It was like the opposite of what's going on now.
Yeah. And now they're in, I hate to say it, but they have done fairly decent this season. The odd few games, but predominantly they've done well. And then, we haven't been great, as we know. So it is possible when you're not playing great that you can still do it, but we have to be on it and we have to get it right in this game. Well, Rob has to get it right. The fans will bring it. They always do. Do you know what I mean? Especially for this game. I mean, I'll say I won't be at this one, unfortunately, but I'll tell you what, when I went 2 seasons ago, unbelievable. Like the atmosphere, as you'd expect, of course, but the fans will bring it, they always do. But it's just, I don't even. We just have to bring it tactically. I was going to say the players do have to bring it, but they do. Well, they try to in this formation. But Rob, he has to get it right. He has to in this game. Otherwise, like we say, it could be curtains. So, yeah. But yeah, a lot of comments on the Burke thing. Burke was spot on. Good to see you in the chat as well, mate. He was. Burke is completely right. Burke, the next manager. Big up to David as well. Hope you're both well. I agree with Burke completely. I can't describe what I watched on Saturday, but we move on. He has to change stuff now urgently. Fans are not happy. Even players are not happy. No, exactly. And that's the thing. I think Reece Burke was sort of hinting that he's not happy, but he's not to call out Edwards directly because you just don't do that. So, yeah, I agree, mate. Definitely. Jackie agrees with everything that's been mentioned recently from us. But, yeah. That's all you want to say, Dad? Anything? So yeah, we'll be back on the 18th for the preview to the massive one, obviously against Watford, and then I will be doing a watch along to that game. There will be fan cams, and again, if you go into it, obviously do a fan cam if you are obviously up for it. I mean, hopefully we get a result. Otherwise, them fan cams could be very, very interesting to say the least.
Yeah, do them anyway.
Yeah. Do them. Get your thoughts, man. Like, this channel, I don't want it just predominantly us and that. I want other people having their say as well and stuff like that. But yeah, a lot of new subscribers recently. The vlog and the match reaction I did outside the ground doing very well. So big up to everyone that's watched them. Short I put out as well is doing well. So that's always good. Channel's growing, so that's always good to see. And I'll be back on Thursday. There'll be shorts out tomorrow and Wednesday, probably one each day, and then I'll be back on Thursday doing a watch along to England. So yeah, obviously tune into that if you can. I'll do a watch along to both the games probably. I don't know when the other game is, but I know we've got Greece, and that's actually not going to be an easy game because they're actually doing all right. So yeah, I will do a watch along to that, and then yeah, keep that going with all the watch alongs to the games, and then obviously we'll be back. It'll be sooner than really. It's already the 7th now. So, yeah, before you know it, it will be that massive game. And obviously we'll get into that and everything like that. So, big up to everyone that's watched. Don't forget to smash a like and subscribe if you haven't already, whether you're watching live or obviously on playback. New subscriber as well during the stream. So, big up to yourself. And, yeah, follow me across all my socials. Obviously, links to them are all in the description. And I won't see you guys until Thursday now. As for you, Dad, you won't see him a day until the.
Yeah, I miss me too much,
right? So yeah, big up to everyone, and yeah, till next time, take care and peace.